impressive as that introduction sounded, I did just recently receive my PhD in history, which is about as useful as it sounds in terms of my finding a job. So I'm here exploring my career options. This thing is not going to stay. All right, so I'm Dr. Feichtinger. You can just call me Erin. We don't need to, we can drop the pretense. Perfect, thank you. All right, so I've been an educator for a long time, although one, you probably wouldn't know it to look at me, because two, I am not very good at looking or being professional. That being said, I have taught in a lot of different classrooms with the whole range of students. I taught down on Belmont, K through 6th graders with severe and profound disabilities. I taught out in Highland Park, high school students with behavior disorders, which 3/4 of the time just meant they weren't white. And now, my most recent iteration, sorry for pretending Highland Park people, but it's true. To now, I just finished being a instructor in history at a certain Jesuit institution by the lake, where my students have their own special needs that is related to their upbringing. And across every level, I have learned that there is one thing that you never ever say, and that is because I said so. I mean, you can say it, sort of, but do it like I do in a 12-page syllabus, which preempts that phrase and gets longer each semester the more and more I need to cover my ass, so that my students don't come to me at the end of the semester and say, "But you didn't say so." Anyway, when we say that phrase, I believe it is a stand-in for several things. We either don't know, we don't care to explain, or we don't have the energy or the experience to do so. In most cases, though, it means I am too lazy and or tired to explain this to you again. And this sets a bad example for our kids. In most cases, it lets kids know that it's okay to be lazy about finding the answers. For instance, I had one semester about 3 semesters ago. It was a total nightmare. I had an insane amount of students plagiarize. And we have this thing at that certain Jesuit institution by the lake called turnitin.com, which you have to upload your papers into, which checks for plagiarism. So, not only do I do the whole, it's morally wrong, it's ethically wrong, don't steal people's information, okay, like cite your sources. In the end, it's like, don't plagiarize because I said so, and you will get caught, right? And maybe I should have said to them, because I said so, right? Instead of doing that whole spiel. I should have relied on my status as an authority figure, which in this world that doesn't actually, like, you know, economically value higher education, or I mean at least the humanities, you know, in that world as a professor, I seem to hold the mysteries of the universe, and at the very least I have tattoos, so I'm relatable, right? So I should have said I said so, because I said so, but really, I could just as easily, when they all come into me and justify themselves and their plagiarism to a 1, saying, but I found the answer, right? I should have said, you know, cheating is fine. And cheating actually does pay, right? They're too young to know about Goldman Sachs, but it does pay. It's true, they're too young. I'm not even that old. Cheating is fine, cheating does pay, because once all this ends, you will find a nice, boring job at one of those companies that your dad probably owns, or works at, that also defines the American capitalist state, that is looking for young people just like you, who were never encouraged to find your passion, who were never encouraged to pursue interesting work, to think critically and find an answer, and instead to just be what the university calls marketable. To make more money than me, your professor sitting in front of you, who could never even dream of the numbers of money that you're going to make. Like, I understand those numbers separately, but put together on a paycheck, I'm never gonna see it, right? And who still believes firmly in her heart that the humanities matter and that they're important, right? You're gonna make more money than me, and when you find that job, you will love it in the sense that it will finance that cool urban lifestyle around Wrigley, and pay for all those Tinder dates. And you will forget this awkward moment with me, and you will forget me, and you will fill that nagging hole in your soul with brunch, and with cocktails, and with cars. And you'll keep moving ever forward into that brilliant vision that is Trump's America. And when you do not have to, and in Trump's America, you do not have to look for answers. All you have to do is believe, and fight, and obey, which coincidentally was Mussolini's slogan. That might give you pause if you had not missed that lecture, but hey, college. And speaking of Trump, because it's going there, right? This makes sense. When he says, and this is true, I love the poorly educated, it is really no surprise because we have been putting our children through so many iterations of because I said so without justification all the time in the school system. Take this standardized test because I said so. I know it's beneath you. I know it seems stupid and it seems pointless, and I know that this explanation that I have just given you will leave you unsatisfied, and I know that you will be crushed when you do poorly because of a learning disability, or a stressful home life, or your best friend was mean to you before school started, or you're caught in a vicious cycle of poverty because some asshole in government, or more accurately, some rich asshole who can influence that guy in government, doesn't know anything about you, doesn't know anything about your mom or your dad, doesn't care that you like to draw or that you love R.L. Stein's Goosebumps series, even though they kind of freak you out, but you kind of like that too. And doesn't know that you dream of one day being a singer. When you fail because those people care so little about you that it is not worth their time to offer you an explanation. They're very busy, they're very important, you see, more busy than your mother, who sometimes has to work 3 jobs to keep her family afloat. She's just a taker. Then the rest of us are put in a situation where we have to give you something easier, something more explainable to explain your failure. Because the real explanation and its consequences are too much for us to handle. And because I said so is easier. We are safe in that arbitrary nature of it. The world is scary and life is fucking hard, turns out. So dump out your water bottle before going through the security line, because definitely the terrorists won't get you then, because I said so. Or something. I hate the TSA. But despite the past couple minutes diatribe, I have to admit that I totally understand this phrase. And I get it in large part because I was that kid who always asked why after every explanation my parents did attempt to give me. So instead of this possible explanation, look, this is from my mother's perspective. No one sent her this. Look, I carried you for 9 months, over which time I ate so many pickles that they are ruined for me forever, and then I was in labor for 2 days, and you had and still have a huge head, and they had to sew me up after that, and I'm going to tell you about it for the next 28 years. And then after that, you needed glasses when you were 3. And that's really expensive, and you kept growing out of your clothes until you just stopped a good 5 inches shorter than normal, which led to bullying because there's that, plus those glasses that I just mentioned to you. So I know you're going to need therapy because of all that, plus the fact that you're a bit of an introvert and choose to read instead of playing with other kids. And therapy is really just one protracted because I said so, but in a grander, more philosophical John Locke social contract kind of way. So can you please just eat your goddamn green beans, because I am trying to do the right thing for you, at least in this moment, to keep you alive and not let you die of heart disease related to childhood obesity. Instead of that, my mom just said, because I said so. Thank you.